Yay Media Group.
Hey guys, it's Stephanie.
I'm Trey.
This is your weekly dose of BS.
We gave such great advice last time that you all asked more questions, and Jesus help you, because I don't know that our advice was the most solid, but we're going to answer your questions again and hopefully change, more lives.
Yes, I actually got some really good. You guys are very entertaining. I don't know if these are real life things or if you guys just make this shit up, but I appreciate it either way.
We'll take them.
Yeah, we will take it because I'm like,
the juicier the better.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay, so this one just kind of made me chuckle a little bit.
Okay.
So it said, because it reminded me of Trey a little bit. If I'm like baby Trey. Okay. Stephanie and Trey. I have a friend who is constantly telling everyone she's manifesting abundance. But she's also maxed out her credit cards buying designer handbags because she says she has to look wealthy to become wealthy. Is there a point where self-help turns into self-delusion? Trey, would you like to answer this?
I mean, so this reminds me a lot of the Amanda Francis girl on Beverly Hills, because her whole business is like manifestation. There's a difference between good delusion and bad delusion. And driving yourself into a financial hole, especially if you're purchasing things solely for like an ego high. I would not say that's manifesting. That's just increasing your credit limit.
Yeah. Sometimes I think the older you get, I think the more you don't really care as much, which is kind of interesting. But I believe that a lot, especially like if you live in a big city, it can be tough. I think a lot of younger people, I would say maybe not younger like teens, because I think teens or even early 20s, sometimes it's hard to even pretend like you can have all that. But I would say especially in people in their like 30s, I've noticed this in Dallas, and it kind of makes me a little sad. They will go way beyond their means to look a certain way or to have certain things. And what I think the older you get, the more you realize that they're just things like, and they don't equate to happiness, and they're not going to make you happy. And some of the most depressed, like worst people I know are some of the richest people I know. Travis and I have multiple people that we know who have made the crazy financial gains just in like the 5 years that we've known them. And one guy in particular made hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And I feel like he went from being a very like happy, normal person to like almost at that point miserable. Like it's like he doesn't know what to strive for. He doesn't have anything else. And he's just like I would not wish his life on anybody. I think he's a horrible husband and father now. I think he's a worse person because of it. And I think he's the most unhappy I've ever seen him. Like you just see him and he just looks unhappy. So I don't know. So people who think money equates stability and happiness, I promise you, I know so many people who have an insane amount of abundance. And I feel like it really does a number on how they feel about themselves in life. It's almost like when you have everything you could want, there's nothing else to really work for.
Well, you always want what you don't have. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have money, you feel like having money is going to solve your problem. But if you have that, if you've always had money and you've never been able to find love, what you really want is love. Like there's always something that we all want. Money seems to be a popular one that people want, but there are people that have money that want something else. So having money does not negate the fact that there is something you want in life that you don't have.
Yeah.
That you can buy whatever you want, but that might not be what you're after. I feel like for me, my financial priorities have changed as I've grown. Like I opened my bar when I was 23 years old. It was a very successful bar. I was making great money. I was single. I was spending that money because I didn't have any reason not to. I was also young and I was like, okay, I don't want to buy a house yet. I want to live in a high rise. I bought a nice car. I was buying nice clothes. But then like when I met Zach, I was like, okay, now I feel like I'm financially responsible for two people, even though I'm not. Like he very much has his own job, but my mindset changed on how I wanted to spend my money. And so even now as we're growing in life and we just bought a new home and we're renovating, like buying clothes is not as important to me as buying furniture is right now. That's just, I think your financial priorities change as you grow, which they should. But putting yourself in debt to buy a bag is not going to put you in the rooms you're looking to get into.
No. I saw something on that, like, about people in different like tax brackets. I thought was really interesting. They were saying the people who really could not, like, had a hard time affording things will spend their money on clothes and handbags and things that they feel like will make people perceive them as wealthy. And the people that can afford them, a lot of times don't spend their money on that. They spend it more on like homes and homes and cars, or more like larger things like that. And then the really, really wealthy people, they invest it. Like, it's all about investing.
And you spend your money on things that you find valuable.
Yes.
So if wearing nice clothes, you feel like it's going to elevate your value, that's where you're going to spend your money. If driving a nice car elevates that's where you're going to spend your money. We all spend our money where we think we're getting the most value for ourselves. So however you spend your money, totally up to you. If you spend all that money on facial procedures or what, like, that's where you find your value, but that's going to change over time. Don't waste your money, and be smart with it to an extent, but you should still buy things you enjoy. All right, we can take a break real quick. We'll be right back with another question. All right, question number 2. Okay. I feel like we just gave great advice. Wow.
So, yes.
Maybe that was the first time we've given good advice. Was that advice? Anyways, question 2.
I've been married for 18 years. My husband is a wonderful man and a great father, but I recently found out he's been secretly meeting a female coworker for lunch once or twice a month for almost a year. He swears nothing physical ever happened, but he says he didn't tell me because he knew I'd overreact. Is lying about an innocent friendship just as damaging as cheating, or am I making this bigger than it is?
You are absolutely right. I told someone once, I don't remember who this was. Maybe it was Zach. He was like, "You're acting crazy." And I was like, "No, crazy is my default. I'm acting normal." No, I think you're entirely right. I think being deceptive is also a form of cheating.
See, I have this rule that I really think everybody should live by. And I say this on everything. Like, if
and I bet your rule is going to be, would that apply in my situation though? I think I know where your rule's going.
My rule is, if you're doing something that you cannot tell somebody, you should not be doing it in any way, shape, or form in your life. Like, if you cannot say what you're doing to your partner, your spouse, your parents, like the people that you care about in the world, you probably shouldn't be doing that.
If it feels wrong, it is wrong.
Yeah. Like,
if you feel like you have to hide it.
Yeah. If you have to hide
you shouldn't be doing
it. Share it. You should not be doing it.
Yeah.
I tell my kids that too.
I thought you were going to say that, like, you should not have friends of the opposite sex when you're married.
I mean, I think it really depends. Like, if this is my whole thing. Travis had a really good friend, Michelle, who passed away from cancer, and they were friends like their whole life. And I was also her friend, so I didn't really care if they had a friendship. I think it's more about if you have friends like that are not like that your spouse doesn't know. Like, I think if it's like, I mean, Brandy and Travis, I wouldn't care if they went out because I've known her forever. She's also my friend. Like, there's a trust there. I think it's people who the spouse doesn't know. Like, I think it would be very weird if I had this guy friend that I had never introduced my husband to, and him and I were going out to dinners, and my husband had no idea this man existed. There's a reason, and usually it's not a good reason. It's a reason that I know in my heart I should not be doing this. But I think it really just depends on the relationship, and if your spouse knows them and if they're comfortable with them. I think it's all about the comfort of your partner. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but if there's something that you feel like you can't tell your spouse, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
But if you can't, especially if you're hiding it, if you're like, I'm going out with Jim Bob and you're going out with Mary that you go out with twice a month, like, and your spouse doesn't know Mary exists, or she does, but And another thing is if you really are just friends, like, your goal is to make your partner comfortable. So just say, hey, I want you to meet this person and do a double date or whatever. Like, I want to make you comfortable. And maybe that's you inviting your spouse too, or whatever. But I think it's your job to make your partner comfortable with what you're doing in life.
What it's not your job to do is tell your partner that they're crazy or they're overthinking something. I think it's your job to make them comfortable. And if they're not comfortable, then you need to end that relationship. That is on you. Like if they are uncomfortable, there is something that you have done or something that maybe has happened in the past in a previous relationship that you need to address with them that will make them comfortable. And if they don't, then you have to pick which relationship is more important to you.
Okay, so this is so funny because my sister Trace has told you guys in the last podcast that she is very, like we're very different, right? Like she will say what she thinks at any time. So my brother-in-law works for my husband, right? And he is the nicest guy in the world. And my sister and him were driving, and like he's kind of that person that will do anything for anybody. And one of his coworkers called him because her car broke down. She had a flat tire. And my sister was in the car with him, and she was calling him like to get help. And my sister was like, why the hell she calling? Like this girl heard, and my sister's like, why the hell is she calling you? She needs to call her own man. I was like, you know what? I kind of agree. Call your own husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's like, but Tiffany did not hold back. She's like, no, you do not call my man over your flat tire.
That's right.
Call your own.
Tiffany will cut a bitch.
Yeah, she would. I pity the fool that ever tried to mess with somebody in her life. Okay. My husband and I have the money to live comfortably, but I still shop sales, fly coach when I'm alone, and think carefully before spending. My friends constantly tease me and say, what's the point of having money if you don't enjoy it? It made me wonder, at what point does being financially responsible turn into depriving yourself?
You know what? I actually read an article over the weekend about Rosie O'Donnell. And she had a talk show, a very successful talk show for 4 years. And she said there was a point where she met with her financial advisors and she saw that she had $100 million in her bank account. And when she saw that, she called the studio executives and she quit the show. And they were like freaking out, and they offered her another $100 million to that show for another 2 years, $50 million a season. And she said no, because she said, I have enough money to where I can give what I want, I can provide what I want, and I can make a great life for myself with this money. Why in the world would I need another $100 million? That is more money than I will ever need in my lifetime. She's like, I can be philanthropic, I can send my kids through school, and it was much more valuable to me to be able to pick them up from school and take them to soccer practice and see their lives actually progress than to sit on a set for another 2 years and make another $100 million that I will probably never spend. So for her, she felt like she had enough money and she called it, which I think is very admirable. She was like, yeah, I'm good. Thanks. And she said that was her last season and she never went back. I think that the richest people I know are the most frugal people I know, but that's also how you stay rich. If you just spend all your money, like the girl in the first question, you'll never have money.
Yeah. My parents are kind of like this. Like my mom and dad, they have everything paid off. Like they live a pretty frugal life. However, I think also, because I'm always like, Mom, you guys should go travel. I said, Mom, because they're always talking about my sister and I and like they leaving everything to us. And they've worked hard and they've put a lot of money in their 401k. But I was like, Mom, if you've raised 2 daughters that need, that financially need you to support us even after you pass, and like you did not do a good job raising us. So we're both pretty independent, and like I think Tiffany would agree. We'd rather see you guys enjoy your life and spend money and don't
would
just
Tiffany
hoard
agree?
it. Maybe not. But I would. I was like, just spend my part then, okay? I don't know. But it makes me kind of sad that she doesn't, because I think my mom deprives herself. Not my dad. My dad, I think he just likes being frugal, but also they were both raised from very poor families. And I think whenever you grew up and you didn't have a lot, you're always scared that you'll be there again. And Travis's mom was a lot like that too. So I think it's also, they were just raised differently. And my dad's always like, listen, this is all the money we have. We're both retired. So, we have to make it last. So I don't know. I think everyone's different, but my parents are super happy. And also I think that if they did travel, they would hate it, because my dad would be like, I know for a fact, a lot of these other places don't put ice in their Pepsi. And my dad really loves ice in his drink. We took him to Paris one time, and when I say all the man wanted was McDonald's, and when he saw one, it was the happiest day of his life because he was like, nobody gives me ice in my drinks. They're just small town people.
I think nothing looks as good as having money feels. Like knowing that you are secure in your finances, that is a very comforting feeling for me, at least. Like I like knowing like, okay, I've got X amount of months worth of bills. Like that for me is my peace.
Yeah.
So I think, save as much money as you feel like you need.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think that, I think it's weird that you would make fun of your friend for being frugal. Like, although she still pays $3.99 a month for Hulu, which just baffles me. But I feel like you and Travis are like, even with nice homes and nice cars, y'all are very frugal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't spend money on stupid crap.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a break real quick. We'll be right back for one last question.
I like this question. This is actually a very good question. My husband and I have a rule that we never criticize each other in front of other people. Even if one of us is wrong, we'll talk about it privately later. Some friends think it's fake because you're not being authentic. Do you think couples should always present a united front in public?
What are your thoughts?
So I've actually changed my opinion on this throughout the years. And because I have a really good therapist. And I really try to go out of my way to not talk, even if Travis is driving me crazy. Like I try to not get on a phone and just like talk to anybody and everybody about like, any problems or anything like that. And I really, really think it's important to not put your spouse down in public. Like even if you're annoyed with them and you're like, you've told the story 55 times and here we go again. Because I think it sours a marriage. And Travis and I used to tease each other probably more than we do now. And you would think of it as teasing, but honestly, sometimes it really hurt my feelings because it made me feel I don't like being picked on. We really try not to do that now. And I feel like our marriage is better because of it. Also, what you focus on is what you notice. So if all you're doing is going around and complaining about your significant other, it will make you, that's what you'll fixate on. I truly believe that. But whenever you go around and talk about the good of your partner, which everybody has good and everyone has things that, we could do better, I think what you seek, you will find in life. Mm-hmm. And also one thing I will say, and I've told Travis this, are the people that, it's so funny, in life who we thought, and I think I've said this on the podcast, when Travis and I first got married, the people that I thought had the best marriages ever, never ever said anything about their spouse, just kind of kept their mouth shut, are honestly the people that are getting divorced left and right. And the people that are a little bit more honest, they are still together. So I don't know, but I do think there's something to be said about people who are honest. But I just think for me, I am really trying to be in a place where I build my partner up in life and not tear him down.
Well, and that's kind of your job as a spouse too, is to build your partner up. I think it's really easy to complain about people, but it's easy to pick up the phone and complain to a friend about a spouse or anyone really, but then you don't always pick up the phone to praise them.
Yeah.
So then the view of them is just kind of skewed, and that can be difficult. I think I'm the kind of friend I will get mad for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you're only telling me the bad, all I know is the bad. Now I hate that person. Like you got to balance it out.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I do. I think people have to be really, really careful about that. Also, I think for especially people who maybe work outside the home or have it really can open it. Also, I think it's really confusing for other people, like the guy who goes to, the girl said her husband goes to lunch twice a month with another girl. Now think about this. If he's a spouse that goes to lunch twice a month with another girl and all he does is complain about his wife and say things, and I just think then that other person's like, are you trying to hit on me? Like what? Like It's just weird. there's an awkwardness to it as well. I don't think everybody wants to be a therapist.
Right.
So I don't know. That's just me. But that's something that our therapist told us is like one of the worst things you can do is to like air out your problems or complain about your partner to anybody and everybody that listens. And like I was like, you know what, that's so true. He said a lot of times people kind of do it for sport where, you know, a group of women will get together and then they'll just sit and bitch about their spouse the whole time. And the same thing with guys, like they'll get together and kind of like complain. It's almost how people bond. It's really weird, is by just talking shit about their spouses. And I was like, you know what? I've been in situations like that where you have a bunch of girls and then, you know, one person says something and then we all just have, or my husband does this too. Yeah, he just drives me crazy. And I do see how it is very toxic. And sometimes it can be really entertaining to listen to, I guess, but I'm really trying to not even put that in my mind. Mm-hmm. At that, thank you guys so much for listening and supporting. You can follow me at Steph Hollman on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
You can follow me at Trey_Stewart. You can follow our podcast at BS the Podcast. You can watch us on YouTube at Weekly Dose of BS.
Bye.
Bye.